Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another terrific episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the Monarch of Mardi Gras, the Baroness of Bourbon Street. When she's not co-hosting Ringside Society, she goes on crazy misadventures, such as dressing up as the big boss man and trying to arrest people and give them hard time, and picking fights with random people while dressing up as one of the Road Warriors, and also messing up Soraya's mother's dinner, Louisiana's own Kathy Knight. And the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And joining us for our special episode, that's right, we're doing a Survivor Series predictions episode tonight, is a man who actually decided, you know something, he's going to take his talents from Ohio and go west to California. Man, I'm actually jealous right now because California, they got all the good food, the burritos and the Chinese food and whatnot too. You know, everybody, welcome to the show. Give a warm welcome, you know, making another return for the second consecutive week, Michael Allen, a.k.a. Heel Maggle, possibly the evil twin of Face Maggle. We believe there's a Face Maggle out there, and we're going to find him, and we're going to have a show on that one day.
Oh, Face Maggle has been disappeared. I made sure to never have him show his face ever again. But of course, you had to make the LeBron analogy, like being from Cleveland. Like it's still we still feel that I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. It was, yeah, okay.
He came back though. He came back because after he got that ass whooping from San Antonio, he came back and he stayed for a bit, and then I guess he decided to go west.
He got us the championship after that. I'll give him that, but he didn't have to. That whole decision thing with ESPN was just a little much. It didn't have to be like that. You didn't have to disrespect Cleveland by saying I'm taking my talents to South Beach. But that's either here or there. This is a wrestling podcast. So
there you go. But yeah, so for those of y'all listening, and man, Sandra's already here. Yes, Sandra, we wish you could have been on. We understand it's your sister's birthday. Happy birthday to your sister. I don't know her, but you know, it's always, you know, a blessing when you get to celebrate a birthday. So, you know, she doesn't know me, but just tell her, hey, some guy named Remy Blue said happy birthday. And may she live to see many more. As a matter of fact, tell her Remy Blue and Kathy Knight, because you know Kathy, you know, Kathy's part of the team. To tell her that Remy Blue and Kathy Knight said, you know, happy birthday. May she live to see many more in great health and wealth as well too. Yes. So, with that being said, we're talking about Survivor Series, and yeah, represent. Okay, all right. Hey,
yes, always representing the land from the 216. Heel Maggle, that's me. I was gonna say, Kathy, what do you gotta do to pay back Soraya? Like you're ever gonna live that down, Kat? What are you gonna do about that?
For her meal, you mean?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Like we went like a whole 3 hours and 30 minutes. She was cooking a roast. So backstory for people that don't know, which you can actually watch it on YouTube, on our channel. Just type in Ringside Society and it'll pop up Soraya Knight. She talked for like 3 hours and 30 minutes. She talked to Remy, she talked to me, she talked to Rob. And in the middle of the interview, she was like, "Let me go turn this roast off." And I think she forgot about it, or she turned it on and it was kind of late. And come to find out, because she does Twitch streaming too. Later on, I popped in one day, like a few days after, you know, told her thank you and stuff like that. And it's both. So it's Papa Knight and Mama Knight. They do the stream together. Papa Knight was like, "You ruined my dinner." Like, he was messing with me. He was like, "It was shit. You ruined it."
It's a little plug. You can go back and watch
yeah, Mama Knight was like, she was like, it wasn't that bad, was it? And he's kind of saying under his breath, I'm just giving Kathy shit. Like, kind of play along. Like, you ruined our supper, our dinner. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. But, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Love them. So, that's pretty funny.
They're wrestling royalty in the UK. So,
yes.
That's big. That's a big...
I'm surprised. Cool. I'm surprised we actually got her on the show, because I was like, it's Saraya Knight. Like, she was on Total Divas, and then lo and behold, we have her. Like, I was like, normally I'm confident when I talk to people, but for some reason, that one particular episode, I was like Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. I didn't know how to like approach her or whatnot. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be over here, Kathy and Rob. Y'all could take care of that. But,
Remy's never really nervous for these things, but he was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, you can see he was nervous.
Hey, it's a big deal. Like the Knights, like the wrestling scene in the UK probably wouldn't be as strong as it is currently without that family.
Yeah.
That's a big get. Natural to be nervous means you respect the biz. Yeah. But I gotta go. Everybody's got to go back and watch that interview with Saraya. It's very cool.
Yeah, actually, if you there's a way to filter stuff on YouTube. If you click popular, like on our videos, she's the second most popular one.
Oh, very
cool. Like 400 something views, 440 something views. Yeah. Woo. One of my favorite ones. Actually, the two that are most popular are the two of my favorite episodes we've ever done. Insidious one has like 630 something views, some crazy number like that. What? And and Saraya Knight has 400 something views. And those are the two of my favorite ones that we've ever done.
Yeah, super fun.
Cool. Super fun, super funny. Love them both.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and one more thing. # sign Zach Zodiac. Tony Khan, we ain't gonna stop with you. You gonna sign that boy. We ain't gonna have that. You gonna give that man a contract. He deserves it. He's worked hard. # sign Zach Zodiac. We're not gonna stop.
But, he was there in the audience. If you caught Full Gear, he was there, and he had his name on the bottom, which was awesome. So,
Bobby, shout out to Bobby Stryker, my good friend from Fort Lauderdale, who I used to hang out with, who I actually used to hang out with a lot. Are you talking about the Roxy, like the Hispanic? I'm not trying to sound offensive. Our guest from Puerto Rico, who we did the translation with, because if that's that one, then yeah, that was a pretty interesting one. Yes, people, we actually do have people that translate guests for us. Oh, Roxanne Perez. Okay, yeah. That was Rock Talk. Wow. Yeah.
That was a fun one too.
Yeah.
You've had some pretty good guests on this.
Yeah.
Not to toot our own horn, but toot.
I'm sorry, man, but we got a hell of a team, man. Like, we just, the three of us, me, Kathy, and Rob, we're just like, like I said, we're like the Fugees, man. We're like, Kathy's Lauryn Hill, Rob is Wyclef, and I'm Praz. We just connect like that,
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised. Like, some of these people say yes, and I'm like, thank you, because like most of them come from Reality of Wrestling, and they've seen me before, and I guess the dedication, driving 3 to 4 hours to Texas and back. They're like, man, that's dedication. Like, we'll do your podcast. So I was like, that's always cool.
That's what's up. So we got Survivor Series War Games, man. For the first time ever, we got Survivor Series tomorrow in Boston, Massachusetts, a.k.a. Beantown. Fun fact, they don't like when you call it Beantown. I once told a Bostonian, I'm like, yo, what's going on in Beantown? He's like, nah, don't call it Beantown, man. Right, my bad.
I'm from Cleveland. I don't care what they want. Call them Beantown. Screw the Celtics.
But we got they're coming from they're going to be in Boston this year, and for the first time ever, we got War Games on a Survivor Series. What are y'all thoughts on this whole card, man? Like what are y'all thoughts on that?
let's just talk about it being war games on the main roster. A main roster war games. That is a big deal. Triple H basically bringing back WCW. He's just trying to revive it. Like, but that's a good thing. Like, this is very cool. That one of the first things Triple H has to do is putting war games on the main roster, which is like way overdue. So just the fact that it's a war games is amazing.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Actually, Bobby, Kathy's over ecstatic because not only is Becky back, but Paige is in AEW. So, yeah, she's bouncing off the walls right now.
Yeah, she's got everything to be happy about.
Yeah, 2-for-1 deal there in wrestling. Woohoo!
It being in Boston, let's talk about the rumors a little bit.
Sasha.
Everyone was expecting Sasha to come back. Yeah. So, you guys want to talk about, before we get into the card, you want to talk about the chatter about the card a little bit, like how
I think it's
why not?
about Sasha. I think it's funny every time something's in Boston, because AEW was in Boston and they're like, "Oh, Sasha's coming." It's like every time something's in Boston, they think Sasha's coming. But it would be cool, if Sasha came back, because now Becky's back, and then we would just need Charlotte back, and then you'd have all 4 horsewomen.
Yes. It's getting there. It's getting there. The whole thing with Sasha coming back could play into the Sasha Bailey feud, their whole story. She's part of the tag division too. That's why she kind of left. She's been hinting about this big date in November. I was doubting it too, Bobby Stryker, until she put up this circular talk on Instagram where she's just talking in circles about some date in November. But then she copyrighted a bunch of like indie stuff, like her indie names and stuff like that, which is a little weird. But I think I don't think there was, I think WWE still had the chance to negotiate and still had the chance to get her back. And I think at the last minute, maybe Triple H offered the sweetheart deal that you can't deny and get her back. Sasha, Bailey, get that feud, because that was the heart of Triple H's NXT, was Sasha versus Bailey. Like that whole thing was like remade the entire women's division industry in the entire all of wrestling. That changed the game. Sasha versus Bailey. Like without that feud, you don't see the evolution on the main roster. You do not see the evolution of the indies accepting women like being serious attraction and a serious draw. Triple H did that with Sasha and Bailey, and it influenced everything. Their style of wrestling. They were told stop wrestling like men, and they refused. And that style of wrestling helped change the Divas division. They started seeing, hey, we can actually do this. There was the give the Divas a chance thing. It all came after the Sasha and Bailey feud. It was that was a groundbreaking thing. So I don't think Triple H wants to lose that. I would, if I was fantasy booking and I was Triple H, that's what I would do. I would open that checkbook and say, "What do you want? Come back. Honestly, I'll do whatever."
It wasn't always like that with the women's wrestling, because if you look at like the Fabulous Moolah, and even to the early to mid 90s, when you had people like Alondra Blaze, Aja Kong, Bertha Faye, you had Heidi Lee Morgan, who we were lucky to have on our show too as well. These women weren't wrestling like the Divas. They were pretty much giving it their all. But to me, there was a bit of a detour from that to the Divas era, which I don't personally like, because I felt that they were being held back. So I didn't like it. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit any of those women, because I'm not a wrestler, so I know my role when it comes to judging somebody's work in the ring. but I just felt that there could have been more that was done, and they were just being held back. And once that era was over, I was like, thank goodness.
Yeah, it was Vince McMahon, and it's not a rumor. That's like historic fact that he just didn't see the appeal in women's wrestling, and so he tried it at the very beginning. They had the Joshis come in, but
to me, he looked more at looks. He was the kind of person that would look by its cover. Because if you look at the guys and the girls are all buff, muscular guys and whatnot, and the girls are all like these models and whatnot. And that's what I think he was looking at. He was looking at, because if you were to compare WWE and some place like NWA, you would see there was a difference. You would see there was a huge difference with how the wrestlers would go out and how they looked. I mean, come on. You had guys like, Bob Orton that were in NWA, the first Starrcade. I mean, and then you got guys like, Hulk Hogan. There's a contrast there. There's a contrast.
Yeah.
So Vince's whole thing was, and don't get me wrong, he made money, but he just didn't know when to stop. Like, that's not working anymore. You need to, either change your mode of thinking or let Triple H and Stephanie take over. You're still gonna get money in your pockets. If somebody were to tell me, hey, Rep, you being on Ringside Society and doing interviews is not working, let Kathy and Rob do it. Guess what? I'm a step back. Kathy knows I wasn't always on here before, but just that I was like, hey, I got Kathy and Rob doing the legwork. Maybe it's time for me to actually step up more, because I don't want to feel like I'm more of a leader than a boss. So I was like, let me just step out of the shadows and actually, do something. But if somebody would tell me, nah, Remy, it's not working, I would back off and hand them and let them do the interviews, and I would stay back. That's what Vince needed to learn how to do. Like, let people have a bit more control. You're still gonna win, but unfortunately,
that never happens. He was forced out. He had to be forced out.
I didn't want that for him either. I wanted him to like just be better, you know.
Yeah.
But he still has some stakes. I think he still has he still has shares in the company. So.
Yeah, he's still the largest shareholder in the company. But he's not. He's off trying to get his life together, which is what is deserved. That was what got him into trouble, is that he didn't have a life. So he tried to have a life within the company, and you can't really do that. And that, so he crossed some lines that maybe business-wise he shouldn't have crossed. But he didn't do anything wrong personally. He was just trying to have a life within the company. So now that he's not there, he can focus on doing that, and it doesn't cross any maybe squeamish lines of like dating employees. But so yeah, he deserves to have a life. He was just so dedicated on wrestling that he didn't have a life, and he was trying to have a life while being Vince McMahon, and it's hard. You can't be Vince McMahon and date. That's why you had to have the NDAs, like you can't be Vince McMahon and be like, after his marriage fell apart, like it's like that's a bad image. Like, you're Vince McMahon and your marriage is falling apart. That's okay. So you have to create this. It's wrestling. You have to keep your character. You have to keep your image. And so when you're dating, put an NDA. You can't talk about dating me. I'm Vince McMahon. And so yeah, that's what got him into trouble, is you put NDAs on people, and that and that looked weird. And then he started using money that he shouldn't have done. Yes, Naomi is gone. So let's get back to that. Yes, giving Vince McMahon the credit.
You just gave me a vision of Vince McMahon going to a restaurant with his little power strut, and he's like, "You son of a so-and-so. What do you mean you don't have any breadsticks? You're fired." I actually own this restaurant.
Yeah, like having a normal life as Vince McMahon. That's why you never saw the rare Vince McMahon in the wild photos were so cool and captivating, because like Vince McMahon actually has a life. He barely had a life, so whenever he did go out and have some fun, it was like the capture a picture of it. It was like, wow, Vince at a UFC fight or whatever.
I'll say
You know?
one thing. I hope, if I make 77, I hope that I have his energy because that man, people could say what they want, but two things they have to give that man. One, he was a great businessman and he made wrestling what it was. He's one of the people that made wrestling what it
Yeah.
was. Who was the
Yeah.
other person? Hulk Hogan. A lot of people don't like him, but still they have to give him that. Not Hulk Hogan, then who?
We can debate Hulk Hogan. And we can debate Vince McMahon because there's an argument to be made that in some aspects, like women's wrestling, he held back women's wrestling for 30 years. There's arguments to be made there, but there's a bigger argument to be made that Hulk Hogan was a bigger a-hole than he was helpful to the industry. That's a whole other podcast, though. Let's talk about War Games.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, the second thing I was going to say is, for a 77-year-old, Vince still has that energy, and that's what I don't mind losing my hair. I don't mind. That ship is already sailing. I don't mind getting gray hair. That ship is gone. But as long as I could move like Vince, I don't care. Give me that. Yeah. But yes, Survivor Series, War Games, Shawn Michaels made WrestleMania. Yeah, that's kind of debatable too, Bobby.
But that's Vince. Yeah, Vince put Shawn Michaels in that spot. It's all Vince.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's that's pretty much what it is. And with that being said, we actually have the Survivor Series card here. How are y'all feeling about this card? Are y'all excited, or are you like, it's another thing?
It's interesting. I'm only excited at the possibility of Sasha coming back. Actually, and I'm curious about the bloodline. That seems like it could be a very good War Games match. Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes and Kevin Owens. So yeah, there are some things on the card that actually look like good wrestling. As a whole, it's really just it's War Games, guys. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What about you, Kathy?
So I think there's 5 matches from what I can tell. Most of it's gonna be War Games, I guess, because that's gonna take. There's 2 matches. To me, the women War Games was put together like it's been brewing, good storylines and stuff like that. The men one was kind of like thrown together. I mean, you got the whole bloodline, and then you have you have the Brute and Drew and KO. It's kind of like they were all put together. It really didn't pick up traction until like this SmackDown, where KO is like talking to Sammy, and then you see Jay overhearing what they're saying. So like they're planting seeds there. So it finally got interesting there. The women's one was already interesting, and then we all kind of knew it was going to be Becky, and Becky was there tonight, so that got it more interesting and put another layer on the women's one. And then the rest of the card, I mean, AJ versus Finn, they're both of my favorites, so that would be pretty cool to watch that one. The rest of the cards kind of but I don't know. It should be good. I hope it's good. Survivor Series is usually one of my favorite pay-per-views or premium live events because it's always around my birthday. That's the one, the whole November thing, and it goes around. Usually is around my birthday. This one's like a week after. So hopefully it's good and we all are entertained.
Yeah, it's we got 5 matches. I know that now that with how Triple H is doing it, 5 matches, but we're gonna get a hell of a lot more wrestling, a lot more like highly contested matches, and it's to me, I think it's gonna be memorable. It's definitely gonna be memorable because it's for the first time ever you got War Games, not just one War Games match, but 2 War Games matches. So we got one for the ladies and one for the fellas out there too, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually hyped about it as well too. And Bobby, you said it looks better than Crown. It looks good to you, better than Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel to me wasn't that bad, but and I'm not trying to sound, I'm not trying to sound offensive to anybody's country, but it's no secret that there is some unrest over there, and I just worry for the men and women over there that are going over there to entertain the fans, because I heard one time they actually got I think almost held captive because of something. And these men and women have, they have lives beyond wrestling. They have, families. They have, to provide for and so on. So that's the only thing that makes me kind of like, concerned about Crown Jewel. But yeah, and Sanji said it was a given. It was going to be Becky. Yeah, although I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't have minded if Tegan Knox was actually the fifth person. That would have been pretty cool too. To have her come back. And I heard some rumors that there is interest in bringing her back, but we'll see.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot about Tegan. Yeah, her and Dakota. That would have made sense. It wouldn't have been big enough, though. It wouldn't have been. People would have been like, "Oh, who? Oh, Tegan. Okay." I don't think that would have been a big enough pop to justify the mystery. It would have made sense though because of Dakota. I think they're saving that later, though. Chelsea Green. That I guess I don't know how they would have made sense. It would be great for her to be the fifth person, but storyline wise, people would be like, "Oh, her, okay." It would have been the pop. They're looking for a big pop, so I think the biggest pop and the one that made sense was Becky Lynch or Sasha, but they pulled the Becky trigger, which was great. Yeah, she was the only one that really made sense in terms of big name and making sense. So I agree with Sandy. It was. I think it was obvious for Becky. Charlotte's. I don't know. What was she doing before she left? Who was she feuding with? I can't even remember.
Charlotte might be saved for the Rumble. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, for sure.
They had that I Quit match or something. Her and Ronda. I think that's the last thing she did.
Oh, well, then that wouldn't have made sense because it needs to continue. Triple H is all about continuity.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have made any sense. But yeah, it would have been a big pop, but it would have been confusing. Like Charlotte, okay, but
she might be a Rumble surprise. I was kind of thinking Becky might be for the Rumble too, but yeah, she made it to where I guess her shoulders healed and everything, so Survivor Series made more sense.
Yes.
But I was like, well, if she didn't show up for Survivor Series, I was like, definitely the Rumble. Because all these, like for the Rumble, there's all these surprises, and you keep people usually that are injured. Like John Cena, when he came back, he had a huge pop that one time for the Royal Rumble. So like you kind of keep people that have been injured or taking time off, you save them for the Rumble.
Yeah, Sandy's correct. Charlotte wouldn't have made sense because she's not a face. Unless they're going to turn her, like, that wouldn't have made sense because, she's back and she's a face. That's too much for one return right there. You need to bring her back and then turn her face. So that just wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have at all. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to Charlotte returning because that's going to be interesting. That's going to be For one, I would like to see if Charlotte faces Bianca. I wouldn't mind Bianca taking the win. I'd like to see that because then, I always said the 4 horsewomen are the women to beat right now. If you beat all 4 of them, that means you're pretty badass. And there's few women that actually have that honor. Alexa Bliss, and I'm talking like one-on-one, not all you fought one in a tag team and you beat one by disqualification. I'm talking about one-on-one, you pin them. And there's only I could probably count on one hand the people that have actually been able to do that. And yeah, it's far and few, but it's an honor if you actually get that. Yeah. With that being said, we're gonna go through the card. So y'all know how I normally do this. I'm gonna say the match. I'm gonna go around the room and say who we say and ask y'all who y'all think is gonna win. For those of y'all watching at home, listening at home, feel free to actually leave your comments or your picks in our comments, whether you're on Twitch, Facebook, or Instagram. YouTube. Definitely feel free to leave your comments there. Facebook user, I don't know who you are, but thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. For some reason, Facebook does not identify people. And Zuckerberg, you gotta do better, man.
Yeah, what's up?
With that being said, let's get into it. We got 5 matches for Survivor Series War Games. It's going to be crazy. And the first match we have It's going to be a triple threat match for the WWE United States Championship. It's going to be the defending champion, Seth freaking Rollins, versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. Kathy, who you got for this? Who you going with?
So I don't think Austin's gonna do too much. Well, unless he like tries to get back at Bobby and both Seth, but I don't see him winning. I think Seth's gonna retain, and the only reason I think he might not retain is if he would lose and he's going after Roman next. But I don't think they're ready to pull that trigger yet. So I think Seth is gonna retain.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. You know, they really need the U.S. title to be important because this is the only title in the men's division on Raw, and the USA Network has been wanting a champion, so they have to emphasize that the USA title is important. So they're definitely going to make this a focus of the pay-per-view card. They're going to they need to make the US title seem important to satisfy the USA Network. In terms of who's winning, Seth would make sense. I just love Bobby Lashley. I'm really biased. I love Bobby Lashley. I think he should never drop the title. And if he is dropping it, it's just so he can rack up another win. You know, like Bobby Lashley should be so dominant. He should be like a Brock Lesnar. And they should be calling him Sergeant Lashley. Gosh dang it. But that's a whole other conversation. I'm going to say Bobby Lashley because, man, putting gold on him looks good. It looks good to have gold around that man. And Seth Rollins doesn't need a title. Austin Theory, I think he could interfere and actually cause Seth the title. That's actually what I would want, is like get in the way and let just Bobby Lashley win it, you know?
Yeah, that's what I put too. Like, underlined Bobby, like thinking he might win if Austin interferes. He'd cost Seth the title and Bobby would win it. But I think that's the only way Bobby would win. Not that Bobby's can't do it on his own. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I think Austin's probably gonna do something to like piss Seth off, or because Austin's sneaky like that. So that would be the only reason he would lose it, and Bobby would get it back.
Awesome. So Bobby Striker, you're going with Seth Rollins. Sani, you're going with Seth as well too. And Bobby, you feel he's the most energetic person. What you say? Okay, because he the most energetic person they got right now. Bobby had title too much. Seth needs more. Needs it. In years since he had title.
It's opinion you could take that Bobby's, Sandy's saying, yeah, Seth keep it. Cody comes back and he can go for the title. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Cody versus Seth for a title.
I don't want a Cody Rhodes US. No.
But I could see it. I could see Cody wanting to hold that title just from the heritage it has. So that actually is a good take, Sandy.
They still have history too, Seth and Cody. They have unfinished business there.
They really do.
I mean, Dustin Rose even held that title. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I could see him wanting it just from the history of the title. So I could see them keeping it on Seth just for Cody to come back to go after it. I don't see why. Yes, it would make sense because Cody and Seth, but I don't see why that couldn't be Cody versus Lashley. But yeah. I'm just biased. I just want Lashley to be the champ. Like he's such a good dude.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with Austin Theory. I'm gonna be that guy and go with Austin Theory. The reason why is because Austin Theory is fed up now. He's tired of being told, "Hey, you're the future. You're the next thing." He's like, "No, I'm Mr. Right Now." And then he showed it by actually, he showed his testicular fortitude by attacking, Seth Rollins, and then attacking, he stood up to Bobby Lashley. He did not run out of the ring when Bobby Lashley went to the ring. He stood up to Bobby Lashley and was, throwing punches back at Bobby obviously, Bobby got, eventually, got the upper hand because look at the guy, he's jacked. But I think Austin Theory is actually gonna he's actually gonna plot something and get that title. And besides, if you ask me, Bobby nor Seth need that title. I mean, yes, it was a great thing for them to have, but they don't need that. It's time for them it's time for them to move up to Roman. Let's see Bobby Lashley get a match against Roman. Let's see Seth get that rematch against Roman, because let's be honest, Seth is the only man Roman has not pinned. He's the only person that Roman has lost to, and it was by DQ. So I would say run that back one more time, and then finally have Seth get that win. Then have Roman get that win over him. Yeah, Bobby, you're right. Seth never lost. I remember that. So I'd say let's run that back. I'd say they could run that back one more time, and then have Bobby Lashley get a chance too at the title, and then maybe from what I heard, it might be Cody taking that title off him. They could run that next. But we will definitely see. But honestly speaking, if they really want to, they could keep that title on Roman until next summer, because Randy Orton needs to get his payback. That'd be good to have. You got The Rock. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I could imagine the promos on that.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going with The Rock. I think even The Rock has been teasing it, like in his interviews. Like he's doing an interview for a movie, and someone brings up Roman, and he brings up WrestleMania.
But could you imagine this? Imagine how that promo would go. The Rock saying something funny like, "Yeah, I remember when you were a little kid, you used to walk around with your diaper all heavy and whatnot."
It writes itself, man. It writes itself. Like he's the actual head of the table. You're calling yourself the head of the table when I am Dwayne Johnson. I am The Rock. I built the table. Like, yeah.
You want to hear something funny? I want to hear something funny. The Rock is not really related to Roman Reigns. The Rock is not. The Maivias are not really related to the Anawais.
Right. Yeah.
They are only
it's like marriage cousin kind of thing. Yeah.
It's like back in Guyana where we say uncle, we call our family friend uncle, but they're not really blood. It's like, hey, what's up, uncle? What's up, auntie? That's what it is with The Rock and Roman Reigns. So all Roman has to do is say, hey, something. It's funny how you made your popularity off of claiming you were one of us. Yeah. You were never one of us. And you can say something like, your dad was just a family friend. That's all he was. I could see them going that route.
They could, yes, but he actually is like he's related through the marriage, and like Tamina is The Rock's cousin, so therefore that's how they're related. He actually is part of the bloodline, and so I think and WWE doesn't want to make that like, oh, he's just through marriage and all that. No, they want him. They want The Rock as part of the bloodline. Like that, it just writes itself. They've actually been teasing that too. And back when The Rock was still making appearances, they established that they were cousins. So it's in kayfabe and in real life, they are related and established as being part of the same family. Yes, it was Rocky Maivia and that family, but it was through marriage, and his mom is related to the Anoa'i as one of the daughters of one of the other. But yeah, but they're related. So Tamina is The Rock's cousin, and Tamina is Roman's cousin. So it's like there is an actual established bloodline connection with The Rock. So, and I think that's just money. That's just money. Like, why wouldn't the WWE want The Rock at WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns? Like, that is pure money. And so, they have to be setting that up. Like, I would think that that's what they're gonna do for WrestleMania. And so, yeah, keeping Roman with the title until then, and we're talking about the bloodline now, but this was a U.S. title. But yeah, it's I think that's just pure money at the WrestleMania match. But yeah, Seth Rollins, going up against him. Maybe before WrestleMania. Maybe after the Rumble, during the Rumble, or one of the pay-per-views before WrestleMania as like a challenger, and then they get that out of the way, and then they refocus on the Bloodline head of the table storyline, and that's when they reintroduce The Rock, and go with that. But it was and that is not impossible. That is like people were teasing that The Rock could come out at the Royal Rumble. It was like there's always a spot for Cody, but I forget who said it. It was either Dave Meltzer or the other guy from Busted Open, LaGreca.
Dave McGregor.
Yeah, it was LaGreca, right? Yeah, he was saying that there's a possibility that everyone thinks Cody in the Royal Rumble, but there's always a possibility of The Rock, and so why not both? Like, why not have Cody as the first surprise and then The Rock as the last surprise, and he wins it, and points at Roman, and then that Monday on Raw he comes out and says, or on SmackDown that Friday, he comes out and cuts a promo on Roman saying, "You've been saying you're the head of the table when my family set the table. Like, I built the table, or I arranged the table. My father built the table. I arranged the table. You're just sitting at it. This is my table."
Either way, I'm just looking forward to that if they made that happen. That would definitely be interesting to watch.
Yes.
I haven't seen The Rock live in a long time, so I'm going to the Rumble. I'm gonna be there. So to see him, great. I'd be like, "Oh my god, he's back!" Yes, that'd be awesome.
So the next match we have is a singles match. Oh man, they are really building this up. So we have AJ Styles with the OC, which is Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Mia Yim, versus Finn Balor with the Judgment Day, which is Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley. Man, all I'm going to say is this. Rhea Ripley, that is what happens when you get involved in grown man business. You get a beat down by a grown woman. That's all I'm going to say. Ladies, take note. When you get involved in a grown man's fight, a grown woman might get you. So, yeah. Congratulations, Rhea. You played yourself. But, yeah, this is going to be an interesting match. Every time these two battle, it's a classic. Both Bullet Club members, both of them are former Bullet Club members, Bullet Club leaders, actually. And it's going to be interesting to see how they are. Although I hope somewhere down the line they end up putting them as their own stable. That'd be interesting to see. But that's just me being an armchair booker. But Kathy, who we going for this one?
Yeah, I still remember that match they had on Raw. That was cool. Like at the end when they two-sweeted each other, that match was off the chain. But first of all, why didn't Dom's mom beat the crap out of him? Like, why didn't he go beat up his dad at their house?
That was a little suspect. Like the mom didn't come in and start pulling his ear.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you beating up your father? Like, hit him with a chancla or something. Do something. I digress though, but yeah, AJ versus Finn. These are two of my favorites. Love them both, and I don't know. My gut tells me AJ because so usually, like when Finn's there with the Judgment Day, they get involved. Nobody else is on the other side. Now you even it out. You have the OC on AJ's side. You have the Judgment Day on Finn's side. There's probably going to be some shenanigans, but I think the OC will negate the Judgment Day. So I think AJ might actually win this one.
Okay. Heel Maggle, who are you going with?
So yeah, this is man, yeah, for wrestling nerds, this is a great one because yes, they're the original. They're the original. Yes, the chancla. yeah, Finn Balor was the founder of the Bullet Club along with Carl Anderson. When he left New Japan to go to WWE, AJ Styles took over as the leader of the Bullet Club. Carl Anderson stuck around, and so it sort of was AJ and the OC at the time with the Guerrillas of Destiny and I forget what it was someone else, but but yeah, so that New Japan run for the Bullet Club is historic. It only makes sense that WWE is capitalizing on it because I think they want to do more with New Japan in the future. And they might have accidentally stumbled into it with Carl Anderson not being there to defend his title because he was at Crown Jewel, and now they've set up a redemption match where he's going to defend his openweight title at New Japan. And is it at Wrestle Kingdom? Did they push it to Wrestle Kingdom?
Which one?
His defense of the openweight title, Carl Anderson. I can't remember now, but
oh wow. I think they might be doing a tournament.
Yeah, he was supposed to defend it at Crown Jewel, and because he was supposed to defend it the same day as Crown Jewel, but he was rehired at WWE and he couldn't commit, so they turned it into a storyline, and so I think they just announced that they're pushing that match to the New Japan's WrestleMania equivalent. So yeah, I think that's what that is, and so yeah, I think WWE is going to do more with New Japan in the future. So it's just cool that they're doing this at all, because us wrestling nerds have always wanted that too sweet to happen between Finn and AJ, and they teased it a couple years ago when the OC was before they were fired the first time. They had AJ and Finn meet in the hallway, and they were like, and they went, nah. So they teased it, but so I think eventually they'll pay off, and I think they'll form a super stable and meld the Judgment Day and the OC together and call it the Club. That would just be awesome. Is just to make the Bullet Club the equivalent in WWE. The whole reason the Bullet Club was cool in New Japan is because it was a bunch of Western wrestlers coming into Japanese territory and doing Western stuff. So Kenny Omega. Oh, that was the other guy. I don't know how I couldn't think of Kenny Omega's name back a second ago. But yeah, Kenny Omega was coming in with Carl and the OC, and they were doing a bunch of Western gimmicks. And it shook up New Japan at the time because New Japan is a very sports-like presentation. They didn't have gimmick matches. They weren't doing ladder matches. Like they weren't doing table matches. Like the Bullet Club started that whole Japanese table phenomenon thing in the modern era. They had done it before, but the Bullet Club brought it back and really got New Japan on the, they're the reason people care about New Japan right now is because of the Bullet Club back then. No one would have cared. No one would have cared if that never happened. New Japan would just be the number 2 in the world and be very quiet as wrestling if they had never had that infusion of Western talent back then. I digress. Who's going to win this match? Oh, man. Judgment Day has been so dominant. I think Rhea and Mia Yim are going to influence on the outside. So it's a really good question. I think the OC wins, just because Judgment Day wasn't Triple H's idea. They had to sell him on it originally, and so I think they might want to start phasing out the Judgment Day, and the best way to do that is to incorporate them into the OC and let that be like a super stable of like Triple H approved talent. Triple H loves Finn Balor. When he signed him away from New Japan, put so much focus on him in NXT, the demon persona and everything. It was Triple H approved from 100%, completely backed him. And so I think they want to do more with Finn Balor. And I don't know if he likes this Judgment Day thing. So I think the OC will win. And I think they're going to eventually, I don't think it'll happen that night, but I think eventually they'll pull Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day, incorporate him into the OC, and break up the Judgment Day. Rhea can go do her own thing. Damian can go back to catering. And yeah, Finn will join. Yeah, I think so. So, Santa, are you saying you think Finn's gonna win? So we have Sandy's prediction that I think Judgment Day will win that one.
She's going Finn. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's what's. I think they want the OC to win so they can break up the Judgment Day and reincorporate Finn Balor into like a super stable of Triple H guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Finn and Balor on the same. I mean, Finn and AJ on the same team. That'd be pretty good. And yeah, Bobby, you're right. Edge does need his revenge first. So in terms of that, Bobby, I think it's going to be Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Rhea and Finn. And Rhea, girl, I'm sorry for you, girl. Whoa, you gonna learn?
Yeah, that has to happen, right? That has to happen, and then the Judgment Day can break up. So, you lost to Edge and Beth Phoenix. We don't need you anymore. So yeah, that has to happen, and then they can break up the Judgment Day. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you can't declare Beth dead and Beth not come and kick your ass.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Beth needs to get her revenge, and that they just need to let her do her thing. Like, focus on Beth Phoenix for a little bit. Like Vince never really gave her due. And she's not past her prime. She can still go. So let her come in and do a little program with Rhea for a couple of months, and let her actually get maybe even she gets a title. Maybe they introduce a secondary women's title and they give it to Beth Phoenix, or maybe even they give her the women's title. Yeah, they need to give Beth her due. They need to get that revenge for Beth and Edge. So I definitely agree. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I still think the club wins, and they'll do that later.
I'll go with AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is gonna pick up this one. I think he's definitely gonna pick it up, and it's going to be confusion out there. I already know the club and the Judgment Day are gonna get into it, but I think AJ is definitely gonna pick up the win, and yeah, it's gonna be his night. The next match that we have on deck is gonna be a singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. The defending champion Ronda Rousey going up against Shotzi. Don't say her last name, Blackheart. Kathy, who are you going with?
So I love Shotzi to death. Love the tank, love the helmet, love the look, the green hair. But it's Ronda, and they're not gonna take the title off of her. So Ronda.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I agree. I love everything you said. I love Shotzi. She was the best thing about Hood Slam. Man, if people haven't seen her stuff at Hood Slam, go watch some Hood Slam stuff. She was the focus. She was the heart of Hood Slam, along with the guy. What was his name? The main guy, the broski. He was. Shotzi's great, but yeah, they got to protect Ronda. I think they're setting up for a horsewomen thing. Only this time it'll be a 3 horsewomen. I think, and this will just hear me out here. I think in the future they're going to set up the horsewomen, so they're protecting Ronda. She's going to retain here, so they're going to protect her. They're going to rehire Jessamine Duke, and because Marina is in AEW, what they'll do is they'll reform the horsewomen, but one of the horsewomen will be like, I don't need you guys, I'm out. Maybe it's Charlotte. maybe Charlotte doesn't join the Horsewomen.
But
That would make sense.
A funny thing about that,
yeah,
I had an argument with some fans on Twitter the other day. Like, Charlotte is and Becky and them, they're the real 4 horsewomen. I mean, Ric Flair, that's Ric Flair's daughter, and Ric Flair never acknowledged Ronda and them. And then Shayna Baszler saw it. She replied with a picture of her and Ric Flair throwing up the fours. Me being an argumentative guy, I was like, yeah, but you're not his daughter. You're not his daughter. You think he's gonna give you the go ahead over his daughter, who is just as talented in the ring as you are? Like, no, he's not gonna. And then eventually I saw it for myself where Shayna Baszler said something where she was like, they're not the 4 horsewomen. Charlotte and them, they're just 4 good wrestlers who happen to be friends. And then when I watched them, and then I watched how Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke, this was before Ronda came back. And then when I saw how they moved, I was like, yo, you know something? Shayna, Ronda, and Jessamine and Marina, they move like like the real 4 horsemen. Just that there's 3 of them. There's just 3 of them. So, Kathy, I know you heard this story. Heel Maggle, I don't know if you heard this when you were watching one of our episodes, but I went to, I think it was the Big Event, which is a wrestling convention over here in New York that they have, I think even March or November. But the last one I went there and I saw Marina. I was like, Marina, first off, I just got to say, I got something to admit to you. I was wrong. And then she got up, and I was like, I'm not. I don't want no smoke because I was a mixed martial artist. I mean, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. So I'm like, oh, I don't want no smoke. I'm not here for any trouble. She's like, no, it's okay. I'm just getting up. I just gotta stretch my legs. And she was like, this close to me. I was like, Father, in my mind, I was like, Father, please don't let this woman kick my ass. I'm not a fighter. I'm from the suburbs. Come on, she's an MMA fighter. But she let me say what I'd say. I was like, you know something? You and Shayna and Jessamine, y'all are the real 4 horsewomen and Ronda, y'all are the real 4 horsewomen because y'all are a tight unit. Y'all are a collective that's close, and you're always there for each other. And she was like, all right, thank you and whatnot. And I was like, thank goodness I'm still standing. I'm not trying to get no smoke, nothing with none of these women. I'm good.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm damn near 40, so I can't really run as fast as I used to. So hey,
Yeah, that was an observation a lot of people were making, is that the 4 horsewomen, the NXT 4 horsewomen, were just given that name because of Charlotte, and it was applied to them, and they sort of ran with it, and they just sort of did the thing, but they weren't actually officially christened by Ric Flair as the 4 horsewomen. That was the MMA 4 horsewomen. They were the ones christened by Ric Flair as the 4 horsewomen. Like they were legit MMA fighters who transitioned to wrestling and love wrestling. Ronda has always loved wrestling. Shayna learned to love wrestling. Jessamine Duke learned to love wrestling. And Marina, I think she knew wrestling, but again, she was an MMA person, but she learned to love it. But Ronda was the one that was always into Roddy Piper and wanted to do all that. So yeah, there was always that camaraderie there because they were always best friends. And that was something that came up, was that, yeah, the NXT 4 horsewomen are being called the 4 horsewomen, but if you look at what defines a horseman, it's the MMA horsewomen. It's them. They're tight knit. They're real friends. It's not contrived. They weren't thrown together. They're real friends who learned to love wrestling together and learned to actually honor specific wrestlers in their wrestling style. Shayna is a Billy Robinson guy through and through. And she always puts him over. So yeah, it was, and Marina is also married to Roddy, and he is a wrestling genius. He can't talk for crap, but he is a genius when it comes to wrestling in the ring. Was married. I think they're still married. Yeah, they're still married. Yeah, they're still married.
Come on, Bobby.
So yeah, he's a genius when it comes to wrestling, and he was like, she was just saying on the podcast that, like, when she finally started getting it, Roddy was the one who was like, "That's beautiful. You got it. This is great. You're doing it. Keep going." And that really helped her because Roddy's a wrestling genius, and so if he's saying yes, you got it, then you're getting it. And so, yeah, nothing to put the NXT Horsewomen down. They're very good wrestlers, and they were friends at some point, but not all four of them, and it wasn't a tight-knit thing, and they were thrown together, and they were never officially christened the Horsewomen. Ric Flair just came out with Charlotte at the beginning, but the four Horsewomen were never. That was just a crowd thing that was given to them.
Well, I think they were more tight knit backstage. I mean, yeah, like Sasha and Bailey were friends, and Charlotte and Becky were friends. I'm sure they were all friends, but it was more like a backstage thing.
Yeah,
that's where like the four horsewomen come into, like, for them. You didn't see it so much. You know, they did the curtain call thing for Sasha and Bailey's match where they all put up the four. That's when you knew, oh, they're the four horsewomen. But behind the scenes, they were more the close knit. They just weren't wrestling as a cohesive unit, like the MMA side of things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and even publicly, they weren't. They would see that you would show each other, like Sasha and Bayley would be seen together, but not, and Charlotte and Becky would be seen together, but not all four of them together. Like it was like two sets of friends that were just put together, but they weren't all together friends as a group. It was weird, but yeah.
So,
but yes, I think Ronda's going to win that match.
I think Ronda's going to get it too. She's going to win, but I think the person who I really want to see. I think we're going to get, after that, we're going to get Ronda versus Liv Morgan part 2, because Liv Morgan is tripping right now.
She's tripping over her own feet onto the floor.
Homegirl is on some type of thing, but in all honesty, yeah, it's going to be. I would love to see Liv Morgan team with Alexa Bliss, because I got to feel Alexa Bliss is going to go back to her crazy personality, and I think it'd be a good fit together. But that's one thing. That's me armchair booking right there. But yeah, I don't see Shotzi. I don't see Shotzi. Don't get me wrong. She's a great wrestler. I actually got to see her in wrestle in person when I was over in Southgate, in California, it was a AWS, and that was like 7 years ago, and I got to see her wrestle, and several other great people were on that card too. Actually, the Stoner brothers were on that card too, and she was definitely a star in the making. But I just don't think that tonight's going to be her, or tomorrow. Well, yeah, that night's going to be her night. I think it's going to be Ronda Rousey. And if y'all notice, Ronda Rousey got the black swan paint on her eyes, and so does Shayna Baszler. So I think that might be a thing of theirs, man.
Yeah, they've been trying to look more cohesive with the makeup. Yeah, it's good. I don't know. I don't like Liv. Liv is a try-hard. I think she was a Vince McMahon experiment that failed, and she was never good at NXT. Triple H tried with her and realized that there was nothing there.
She needs to.
Yeah, she needs to go back to NXT. That's what she needs.
This is not no. She doesn't. So I wouldn't put her back. What I would do, put her in a tag team. Everybody can't be the champion. Some people are meant to be in a tag team, and that's what they need to do. I would put Liv in a tag team.
Yeah, she's not that great.
I'd put Alexa Bliss in a tag team as well too, because that's what it is. Not everybody needs to be the women's champion. You know, there's nothing wrong being in a tag team. You could still be great and be in a tag team. Tully Blanchard did it too. Arn Anderson did it too. You know, I wouldn't put her back into NXT. I mean, you need more people for those tag team titles. I would put her for that. Or better yet, put Liv Morgan with Dana Brooke. I mean, Dana ain't doing nothing. You might as well do something with her. Let her earn her money. You know. Yes, I'm gonna go with Shotzi on this one. The next match that we have on the card is going to be the next match you have is actually the men's war game match. Whoo, this is gonna be fun. Oh man, we got the Brawling Brutes, which is the team of Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, teaming with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, which is the team of Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, the Honorary Uce, and the Usos. Main event Jey Uso, and I guess you could call him opening event Jimmy Uso. I mean, the man doesn't even have a doesn't even have a nickname. That's just crazy, man. Like, I really hope they do something with him if they break the Usos up and have them go singles. But and they're going to be accompanied, of course, by Paul Heyman. Kathy, who you got for this one? This is going to be a hot match. I'm gonna be at the edge of my seat just watching this.
There's some nicknames for Jimmy, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm not going there.
If Naomi,
Anyway,
don't, because if Naomi comes,
anyway,
I can't help.
yeah, I shouldn't even said that. So if we could edit stuff out, I would have edited that part out. But anyway, woo. So yeah, like I said earlier, this whole thing with Kevin Owens getting in Sammy's head, it's already like they're, the bloodline. I think Sammy just got DQ'd because the referee saw the belt. He had the title. He had one of the SmackDown titles. So things are starting to fall apart, kind of in the bloodline a little bit there. If Jay seems to like keep that in his head, what he overheard, and Sammy boldface lied to his face, like, no, I wasn't talking to anybody. I can see the bloodline. I circled the bloodline. I think the bloodline's gonna win, except for the fact that if they don't win, it's because they imploded. And it, like, Jay probably would have started it. And we talk about all these people that Roman might face, and I still want to see Jay and Roman come back to that story of, like, he was the first one. That's how the bloodline formed. Like, he basically made Jay do what he wanted, do what Roman wanted. So I still kind of want to see that kind of thrown back in the mix. But I went with the bloodline. But we could start seeing them implode. Like, the cracks might start to form after they win.
Heel Maggle, who you going with, man?
I agree. I don't know if Sam. It seems kind of fast for Sammy to turn on the bloodline tomorrow after one conversation with Kevin Owens.
I think it would more be like Jay would do it.
Yeah.
And not Sammy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, Sammy's probably gonna get framed or something. Like, yeah, it's not gonna really be Sammy though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have to be something like they get dirt on him and they convince Roman and Paul to kick him out of the group. Yeah. At least you're right. Cracks are gonna start forming for sure. It's really interesting. They've been planning on Kevin Owens to interfere and pull Sammy out of the bloodline for a while. I don't know how they're going to do it, though. I don't think it'll happen at War Games. I think the cracks will start forming. I think this is when they start that process of pulling him out of the bloodline, for sure, definitely. So I think the bloodline win. But it's not because of something good. I think it's gonna because like they accidentally win or they win in spite of something. Like, it's gonna be a win that leaves them questioning Sammy for sure. Yes.
If I were the bloodline, all they gotta do is just show Sami Zayn what Kevin Owens did to him when he first debuted in NXT. If they really wanted to, they probably won't, but they could have been like Roman.
Right.
Roman could have been like, Sammy, this man says he's your friend.
Yeah.
What kind of friend goes up to you and attacks you at your grandest moment instead of congratulating? And he shows him that. You've always been the star, and Kevin just couldn't handle it. He could
Yeah.
get to his head like that.
Yeah.
I think Braun and Boots are gonna win, but and like I said, I always joked about this. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they probably put in their clause. They're not holding the titles unless it's with each other. Nobody else is gonna hold those titles with them, but with- but with each other. So I think they're gonna eventually beat the Usos for those titles. But if they really want to, they could always tell Sami Zayn before the match, "Don't fall for. Remember, this is the man that turned on you. This is the man that put you in the hospital. He's always been jealous because you're the star, you know." And actuality, I mean, if you look at it now, Sammy's coming into his own now. I mean, he's the man made the whole crowd laugh by saying "Usi." Like, come on, like the guy
Yeah.
is he's definitely shining now. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think it'd be too soon. I think they're gonna start the process. Cracks will form, like Kathy said. Yes.
but I would definitely say, you know what? This is a tough one because it can go either way.
Yeah,
Uh,
I couldn't tell.
I'm a
Yeah,
probably, you know what?
I couldn't decide really. Rather, I just went with
I'm
the
gonna change
bloodline just to protect the Sammy.
for the first time, and probably one of a few times. I'm gonna change it and say I'm gonna go with the bloodline. But
Oh,
Sami Zayn is gonna still Kevin Owens is gonna be still stuck in Sami Zayn's head because Kevin Owens has tried this before. Sami Zayn back in ROH, and he was like Sam when he was gonna hit him with the chair in one of their matches. Kevin Owens was like, "I'm your friend. I didn't mean to." And then Sammy broke out of whatever manipulation he was trying to do, and he hit him with the chair. Sammy was the face in that match. By the way, I think is that this is going to be a scenario where he's able to overcome whatever Kevin Owens is trying to do, and he's going to actually I think he might even be the one to pin Kevin Owens and get the win or make him submit one or two, and that's what's going to happen. But it's going to be lingering. What Kevin Owens is doing is going to be lingering at the back of his head. And knowing Kevin Owens, he's going to be like, "Congratulations, you beat me. You actually
yeah.
showed your loyalty."
You
But
got me thinking. Yeah, I think what's going to happen. I think this is what's going to happen. I think at the end of the match, there will be an opportunity for Sammy to pin Kevin Owens, and he doesn't take it. And someone else in the bloodline takes that opportunity and wins. And that's how they start questioning Sammy. It's like, why didn't you pin Kevin?
Yeah, that's
yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
It's good.
And they're gonna replicate that Ring of Honor thing. I have heard about that before. I've never seen it though. But yeah, like they could probably replicate that where it's like he's trying to convince him, and he instead of actually hitting him with the chair, maybe he throws the chair down this time and doesn't take action instead of hitting somebody. And so that's when that's how they sort of question Sammy, is that why didn't you hit him with the chair? You had him right there, you didn't hit him, like sort of a thing, or you didn't pin him. Yeah. So yeah, that got me thinking. That's a good thought.
It's gonna be interesting to see though. I know it's gonna be a lot of like war in that ring, and Drew, you got Sheamus come back from injury, and you got Rich Holland, and y'all know Pete Dunne, he's a sadistic dude, he likes to break fingers, so it's gonna be crazy. But I'm open after this match. We get to see Solo Sikoa versus Drew McIntyre properly. I want to see how Solo does one-on-one with that man. I got a feeling he's gonna be a star. I'm actually surprised they haven't put the U.S. and the Intercontinental titles on him. I mean, just take all the belts, but I guess they're just leaving that alone. It can't all be bloodlines, so it is what it is. The last match, we have one more match, and the last match we have is the Women's War Games match. Kath, I know you're going to smile. I already know who you're going to go with anyways. It's going to be the team of Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, Becky Lynch versus Damage Control, which is the team of Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, the newly crazy, well, renewly crazy, if that's a word, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. Kathy, who are you going for this one?
So Heel Maggle was talking about when he was talking about AJ and Finn. If y'all saw me writing down, I had an idea. Like, so Mia and Rhea are on both sides, like each other for that match for AJ versus Finn. What if they cancel each other out during that match and you don't even have them in War Games? That could happen. But I initially, so of course Becky's back. Becky's gonna win. Becky, Mia, Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca. They're gonna take it. Of course, they're gonna win. But if you, the other thing too, if you notice, Alexa's being distant from the rest of them. Like when they're all side by side, she's like kind of, there's like a space, and then like the Bray Wyatt stuff shows up while she's talking. So like I don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger at Survivor Series, but they're definitely brewing something there. Like I don't know if she's gonna turn on her team and do something to where maybe they lose. I sure hope not, because Becky just came back. It wouldn't make sense. But maybe she turns on Becky, maybe she turns on Bianca, because you notice like there's distance, and then like when Bianca's talking, she'll look at like the title, like it's foreshadowing something. I don't know if it's gonna like they're gonna do it for Survivor Series, but something's definitely brewing there. But like I said, Bianca, Alexa, Asuka, Mia, and Becky are my winners.
Okay, all right.
That's really good. Yeah. Um, yeah, it was a part of that I hadn't thought about. I hadn't realized that Alexa was, yeah, that you're right. She's been like a little distant, a little like detached, and I hadn't noticed the thing that you mentioned. Now she's looking at the title, so that's cool. Um, yeah. So the thing I mentioned, like you said, Kathy, them neutralizing each other. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I was just thinking, oh yeah, they're gonna fight.
They
Yeah, but
might
I
not
can
even,
see that.
they
I
might
can see.
even make it to War Games. They might cancel each other out
Right.
before it starts.
Yeah, like that's a great point. Like, it's certain, at least, at the very least, one will injure the other more, so it's a factor in the match. That's for sure. Or if it happens after, if their match is before, yeah, it's same thing. It's gonna affect the club match, uh, because one will injure the other more. So yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's good. Like, yeah, so definitely that will play a factor. So I think with with that playing a factor, I think Rhea will injure Mia Yim more. So Mia Yim is less of a factor in their match. In the women's War Games match. So that gives them a disadvantage, and with the Alexa Bliss being aloof, maybe Alexa doesn't even show up to the match. Maybe something happens with Uncle Howdy, and maybe she like just starts to focus on that and doesn't show up for the match. Yeah, that could be. But I think the heels are going to win. I think Bailey's team will win because there's going to be too much in their favor. Like we said, the Rhea is just Mia Yim is not a match for Rhea. She's a good fighter. She can brawl. She can survive against Rhea more than anybody. But she's not a match. I think she's going to be overpowered by Rhea, and she's going to be either not, if not taken out completely, she's definitely going to be weakened, and that'll be play a factor. And yeah, Alexa's not really in it, so that's, yeah, you're right. So that might play a double factor and just give the heels too much momentum there.
I don't even think Beth Phoenix is a match for Rhea, because that woman, I've seen her in the gym. Damn.
If anyone is, Beth Phoenix is. I think that's the only person they can have Rhea lose to, actually, is Beth. Like, they shouldn't have Rhea losing to many women on the roster other than Bianca and Charlotte at
and
this point.
and Raquel
Yeah.
Rodriguez. You can't leave her out.
She used to be, if she was still NXT Raquel, but main roster Raquel is much smaller. She has not had the time to work out, or she hasn't worked out as much as she should be, because that whole entrance where she focuses on her back. Yeah, she's real tall, but she's thin right now. So she used to be ripped like Rhea. She's not that anymore. She's just tall. She doesn't have that special. Her entrance where she's showing her back muscles doesn't show anything anymore. It's just like, hey, there's a lady's back. Congrats. It's that whole thing was what Rhea is doing now, is showing her back muscles. It's like she stole her gimmick. It's like so Rhea.
Are you saying Rhea stole Raquel's back muscles?
Yes, she stole her weights from the gym. She stole her weights from the gym, and now she's doing double. Yes. She completely stole that thunder. That was her whole gimmick. and Rhea stole her thunder completely. So I think Raquel, as a favor to Rhea, stopped working out. Like I think she did that on purpose, so Rhea could look bigger in comparison, because she doesn't want, Rhea needs to go over, so no one should be bigger than Rhea. So help Rhea out, slim down a little bit. I think they did it on purpose. But so yeah, NXT Rhea, I could see that happening. But modern roster Rhea, nah. I think she gave that to Rhea. I think Raquel gave that to Rhea, and so Rhea, that's not Raquel's gimmick anymore. But yeah, I think the heels will win.
Honestly, I think. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of a tough one, because you got one team with Bianca and them, and you got. Honestly, I really and truly think I'm gonna go with the faces. I think the faces are gonna win. Becky just came back. Becky's back to get her revenge. I think Becky's gonna go in there and clear house and take out everybody. Bayley's gonna get a hell of an ass whooping. I could say that right now. She gonna learn, but I don't think Bayley ever learns, because she did the same thing with Sasha, and Sasha got that ass too. So she gonna get it. She gonna get it again. Asuka, I could see Asuka and Io having a little exchange, and Asuka saying probably something like, "Hey, you weren't shit in Stardom, and you weren't shit here either." And just a fun fact,
I believe your sister was better.
This guy knows his stuff. Io Shirai, yes. For those y'all that don't know,
I did a whole episode of my podcast, rest in peace, over on that whole sister connection and the connection with Asuka. Yeah, it's the last episode of the Teaching an American About Puroresu podcast that I used to do with Dino.
Dude, you should bring that back, man. You should bring that back, man. I don't know why.
I will try. If I have time, I will try.
Even if it's just one night, man. Even if it's just one time, like once a day. Yeah. You gotta bring it back, man.
Yeah, we can try and do that. It's a lot of editing, and there's a lost episode because of circumstances that I couldn't verify some of the things said. So it's a very hard podcast to do, especially if you're trying to do it in one shot. Like I needed to pull my crew back and have re-record some things for this other, and we just couldn't do it. So, but yeah, so that episode's lost. We might have to do it again. But yeah,
there you go.
The whole episode.
But for those y'all that don't know, yes, Io Sky or Io Shirai, for those y'all that are into the that are hardcore Joshi fans, they both were in a triple team called Triple Tails with Mio Shirai, who is Io Shirai's sister. Unfortunately, Mio retired. I believe it was for an injury, but they actually were a team in Stardom, and I believe they actually held the Artist of Stardom championship. What is the Artist of Stardom championship? For those y'all don't know, that is a 6-woman championship, meaning, and it's the only one of its kind in all of professional wrestling. There is no other kind of championship like that for women in any other promotion. So maybe we'll see it someday over here. Who knows? But it's the only one of its kind, and it's in Stardom. So
I posted the link to my episode in the private chat. I don't know if you could post that in the comments for people, but I don't know. Yeah, that's the link to the episode. Yeah, the Triple Tails. And I talked about Mio Shirai, and I also talked about Big Japan. But it was, it's it was a good episode. I liked that episode.
Yeah, it was definitely it was definitely I gotta get into Stardom, man. I've been hearing a lot of great things.
Stardom is very good. It's probably the best wrestling in the world. I am not. That's just my opinion, and I'm not joking about that. It's probably my favorite wrestling. So I say it's the best wrestling in the world. The way the pacing the matches have had, you
know who I wish they would have hired?
Just great.
And in my opinion, she had one of the best Northern Lights suplexes in professional wrestling, Mayu Iwatani. And I was hoping they would have done it when Io and Kyrie were in WWE, because that would have been awesome. You have 3 of them. And for those of y'all that don't know, Io, Kyrie, and Mayu, they were actually in Lucha Underground.
Yes.
Y'all remember that gauntlet that Pentagon Zero had against the Triad?
Right.
Those first 3 women that fought, those were members of Freedom, another great stable as well too.
Yeah.
And those women killed it. So
yeah. Kyrie is now IWGP Women's Champion, the inaugural IWGP Women's Champion of New Japan.
She beat Mayu to that too.
Yeah,
so.
And that was. Got to go back and watch that, guys.
Japan
is good stuff. Go watch it.
Not sleep on Mayu Iwatani for those y'all that don't know, because Mayu Iwatani was the 2nd Ring of Honor Women's Champion. She beat Kelly Klein for that title, so y'all don't sleep on that woman. I think she was the 2nd or the 3rd. She was 1 or 2. She was definitely, a great competitor, and I really and truly hope that somebody, heck, even if Tony Khan, cuts that check for her to have like a couple appearances, she's definitely what the Western wrestling fans need to see that don't know about that much about Joshi pro wrestling. They definitely need to see her. But my pick for this match, I think I'm gonna definitely go with Bianca and them. They're gonna win. There's definitely going to be a lot of we're gonna see some stuff. I know Io's probably gonna do something crazy because she's Io Sky. I think she's called the Genius of the Sky.
Genius of the Sky. Yeah.
And it's going to be another memorable one too. And I'm just glad the women are getting a chance to do more and be themselves and show what they can do.
Yes.
Could you imagine how cringy it would have been if Asuka and them were in the Divas era and doing stuff?
It wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have joined. It wouldn't have worked. Yeah.
Because when you look at it, WWE like when you look at certain people like how they were on the Indies, and you see them in WWE, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like the Bushwhackers do this.
Yeah.
When the Bushwhackers were a hardcore team back in in the Indies, you had Bubba Ray and Devon, stuttering, being comedic when they weren't like that in ECW. It was. I'm not trying to back WWE, but
all credit to Vince. Yeah, he did some good things to wrestling, but also he changed a lot. That's all Vince. Got to go through the Vince filter. But now Triple H is like Indies. Yeah, let's go. So it's going to be completely different.
He knows how it is because he was on the Indies. He was in Boston. He was in the New England indie scene, so he has an idea of how it is, as opposed to Vince, who, you're the son of a promoter, but you don't know how you weren't an indie wrestler. You never knew what it was to drive from one place to another for minimal money. You were pretty much doing the most for minimal money. So, Triple H has a better grasp, in my opinion, and I'm looking.
He respects the work you've done at the Indies. It's not that Vince didn't get it. He watched a lot of wrestling. People think, oh, he only watched WWE. No, he watched the Indies. He loved Austin Theory. That's why he was like, this guy is my guy. Put him up there, because he watched him at Evolve and he was like, that kid's got it. So yeah, it's not that he didn't watch. It's just he didn't really respect it. He was like, "This is developmental for me." You know, when I get him, I'm gonna change him. This is what I'm gonna do. Like, you know, he didn't respect the work. Triple H respects the work that you've done on the indies, and so you can keep it. You don't lose what you've done because that's what built you. And it when Vince would strip someone of their indie persona, for a lot of people, that's like, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, like it doesn't work for everybody. Like, so you just don't strip it. Just let them continue and change it later on. Let them evolve as a character. That's how you do it. You don't say, oh, your name is, oh, what's a good example?
Well, it was a bit of an ego thing too, you know, because I mean, how I saw it is if Vince didn't create it, he doesn't like it and he'll destroy it.
Yeah.
But
Here's a good example.
real.
Oh, you're Killer Cross? No, you're not. You're Karrion Cross, and you're gonna wear a gimp mask. Like, no.
Oh, Axe and Smash must have been rolling, must have been laughing, man. Shit.
Like, yeah, it was just a different mentality.
That's a perfect example too. Axe and Smash.
Yeah.
Demolition were Road Warrior ripoffs. I don't care what anybody says. He didn't get the Road Warriors. That was the WCW NWA thing.
Yeah,
so he had to create his own, and it's all from the same movie.
That worked. You can't.
It worked.
It worked,
but it wasn't their.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah, it wasn't their original thing. He threw that on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked, but like the whole thing with don't put Karrion Cross in no mask.
Yeah, no, that never. Like, respect the work that they've done, respect the character that they've built, let them evolve, don't change them. Yeah, like, that was just a big flaw. Yeah.
Thank God he liked AJ Styles, because AJ came from, you know, New Japan and Impact and these other places, and he could have shit on all over him too, but thank God he didn't.
Because he watched and he knows this is AJ Styles. You can't really
protected some of them, but the rest he just that's why he trademarks these new names. He gives them a new name. You're under the WWE umbrella. I'm gonna make money off of you. You can't use your real name.
Yeah.
We have to trademark and make something else out of you. And he usually does that with everyone, but there's some of them he saved, and it's like, thank God.
Yeah, some of them are too big, and he knows that they're too big. Yeah, because AJ Styles was Mr. TNA, and then he goes and becomes the leader of the Bullet Club. He's too big at that point to change his name, and he's aware of that. People don't think that he watched wrestling, but he did. He was aware.
So, there's monitors backstage, like, you know, they're watching AEW, you know, they watch everything else. You have to be on top. You have to watch all of them, and then sometimes they steal the ideas. I'm like, I saw that in Impact, I saw that in AEW. Like, they steal each other's storylines all the time.
Yes, all the time.
It is something else. So yeah, with that being said, that's our Survivor Series card. Just one last go around. Do y'all have any predictions as to what might happen? Any returns?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, like if anything, it's gonna be Sasha during the women's match. That's the only place it could happen. That's the only time it could happen. Sasha during the women's match. I don't know what they would do, but I think that's where it's going to be. Sasha and Naomi come back sometime in the women's match. If they do it at all, if they're going to pull the trigger, that's when it's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do though. Like, maybe they could take two of the baby faces out and they sub them in. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Kathy, what you got? You got anything?
As far as returns or something, it would probably be Sasha, if anything, if at all. But before we talked about all this stuff, and, you know, on paper at the beginning of the show, we were kind of like, it's kind of a, you know, block hard, but now we actually put some meat and bones to it. And I think it's kind of changing my thought here. Like, it's going to be a good show. there's a lot of layers to it since we kind of predicted stuff and added stuff to it. So it'll be worth watching. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, I guess Sasha could possibly come back. That'd be a great thing. That'd be a big pop, especially in Boston. Crowd is gonna go crazy when they hear her music playing. Um, if for some reason Alexa doesn't show up, um, what about Naomi? That's the question. I mean,
Yeah.
she could interfere with that bloodline match. I mean, her husband's in there, but
Oh.
but the thing
Okay.
is, is this: in order for her to join the bloodline, she's gonna have to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the head of the table. But the thing is, how are you acknowledging another man, not the husband?
That
I
doesn't.
mean, think
I
about
think they could do it. I think they could do it. Maybe
Think about
maybe that builds tension within the bloodline, but
They
I think they
could.
could
I
still
mean,
do it.
Jimmy was
Yeah.
reluctant at first, and then
Yeah.
Jimmy kind of went with the flow, and then Naomi would kind of be like, "Oh, that's my husband." Kind of have
Yeah.
to go on his side and kind of
Yeah.
roll with the punches too.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
think
it could work like
make
that.
it weird. Yeah, I don't think they'll
what
make it weird.
I got a feeling Jimmy for some reason just doesn't give a damn. Like
He's
he
just
does
happy to be there.
whatever. He's happy, and I think like
He's just happy to be there because he very well could not be there, if you know what I mean.
what if he's the one to cause problems in the bloodline? I mean,
They
never
they,
know.
He could.
they could, but they've been playing this Jimmy thing. Solo's more likely to cause than Jimmy right at this point. Jimmy is just happy to be there because he very well should not be there for many reasons.
Yeah.
So,
It's going to be interesting. I don't really have much to say about about what might happen in general, but yeah, it's going to be one to watch, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, with that being said, for those of y'all that are watching and listening, if y'all have any comments, feel free to leave them on the video on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. We're also going to have polls up tomorrow on Twitter. You can actually choose like pick who you think is going to win and whatnot. We're going to have that out there for y'all. And another thing, Jobber Tears, our good friends Jobber Tears, Mr. Black, Sir Wilkins, Janelle from HR, and also is Dre, and man, they got a lot of people in that crew. Jobber Tears, the podcast. They're actually going to be having a watch party in New York, the heart of New York, at Legends Bar. It's going to be on West 33rd Street between 5th and 6th Avenue. For those of y'all live in New York, y'all know where that is. They're going to be having a watch party there. So if you don't want to watch it in your home or watch it alone, you can come on down to, Legends Bar, have some food, have some drinks, and just, enjoy some wrestling with fellow wrestling fans, courtesy of Jobber Tears. So definitely, head on over there, and it's an enjoyable atmosphere. I'll be there most likely if the pay-per-view isn't done by the time I get off work, but I'll be down there and having some food and drinks myself and watch some wrestling. So if y'all see me there, don't be afraid to say hi. Don't rob me because I know it's New York. Y'all in New York don't play. Don't rob me. I mean, you're not gonna get any money anyways. You just might get an empty wallet. So I mean, go ahead. Yeah, I'd rather you not. But
don't go ahead. No, don't go ahead.
yeah, don't go ahead. Yeah, you'll find out. Yeah, but yeah, I'll be down there. So y'all definitely, feel free to, say hi and whatnot. And yeah, with that being said, Heel Maggle, once again, thank you very much for, taking time out of your busy schedule to be on our show. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get Sani on here, but Sani's
good luck with that. She likes watching me more than.
But yeah, thank you very much. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. And my eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Heel Maggle, where can fans find on social media when they want to talk wrestling, all things, Joshi wrestling, and all that good stuff. And where can they find your pod? You know what? I know you're gonna make. I'm speaking in Texas. You're gonna bring back that podcast. Watch this. Where can
Okay.
they find you on social media, man?
Everywhere at Heel Maggle. Yeah, my podcast is called Teaching an American About Puroresu. I'll try and bring it back one day. Um, it's a lot of work, but yeah. Everywhere on social media at Heel Maggle. Join Hive, everybody. Wrestling community is moving to Hive. Go to Hive. That's where everyone's going. Same handle at Heel Maggle on Hive.
Awesome. Kathy Knight, the Tennille to my Captain, the Money Penny to my James Bond, and the Pepper Potts to my Iron Man. Where can or Tony Stark? Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, all things Becky Lynch and Paige, and great eating in Louisiana?
So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, all at BLUE70517.
Awesome, cool. Y'all make sure you check out her YouTube. She does a lot of great edits as well too. If you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say these days, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll say something. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019, Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. And we're also on Facebook as a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society and you'll definitely see us. We're on Spotify and we're also on Hive, actually. We just started a Hive account. So, yes, we're on Hive too as well. Just the same handle at Ringside Society. Feel free to join us on there as well. We're still gonna mess around with Twitter too, but hey, why?
Why not have just in case, just in case it all explodes? Why not go Hive?
Yeah, so we're definitely on Hive as well.
Yeah,
we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merch. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have long sleeve shirts for the cold weather, and we also have hoodies and also coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage as well too. So check out our store, cop some merch. We just dropped our newest design, Stripe Lives Matter. That's for the referees who don't get the recognition. Yes, Stripe Lives Matter. The ref can actually make or break a match. So definitely check it out. Cop some merch. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. Trust me. I'm still eating hamburger helper, and Kathy is still beating up people for their French fries. So please, definitely, feel free, definitely support us. It all goes back into the show. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight live. Really and truly appreciate it. We're gonna keep on striving to be one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to. And we're not doing it for clout. We're doing it for y'all out there, our fellow wrestling fans as well too. And to those y'all that are gonna listen to us later on when you get a chance, thank you in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away and take our merch. Well, like myself at the Gordon Corral and Kathy Knight at Cafe Du Monde for their buy one get one free special, and on Black Friday, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We ain't stopping. Rob, you got to come back, bro. It sounded weird when she says it. I mean, I appreciate it, but it sounds weird when she says it. But Rob, please hurry and come back, man. But yes. With that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we here at Ringside Society. Oh, I almost forgot the YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel as well too, where we have a lot of cool episodes like this one, like the one we had with many guests like Katie Hebner, Paige's mom, as Kathy talked about it. That one's up there. Actually, we have another long one with Nigel Rabbit. That's our longest one. It's 4 hours. And we have a lot of other cool guests that have appeared on our YouTube channel. So definitely check us out. All you gotta do is
Nigel said he'd come back and try to break his record at 4 hours. He was like, I can talk. I was like, I know you can.
Yeah, that'll have to be a day when I'm off and just he's more than welcome to come back. But so definitely check out our YouTube, type in Ringside Society, and once you see that handsome, good looking, dark blue and light blue yin yang sound with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos. because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. As a matter of fact, this Monday we got Jay Bougie, who will be at 1CW going up against 1/3 of Pure Ignorance. And then the second, then the day after, Tuesday, we have Sarah Leon, who we're sponsoring for CCW. She's actually straight from Spain. She's also the girlfriend of A Kid from NXT UK, and she'll be on our show talking about her wrestling career as well. That's right. You know, we got to go worldwide. I'm the worldwide star boy. So we got to hit them up worldwide. Doesn't matter. We will get you. So she'll be on our show tomorrow. She'll be on our show this next Tuesday. So y'all definitely make sure you tune in for that. And yeah, with that being said, we just want to let y'all know that we here at Ringside Society, we're aware. We're very well aware that everybody in the grandparents and the parents have a podcast. Well, not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. We're definitely not just any podcast. So with that being said, hey, yo, Kathy Knight, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for our special guest tonight, Heel Maggle. I still think there's a face Maggle. And if he shows up, we're going to have both y'all on the show. And one time for Sani, who couldn't make it tonight, and her sister's birthday, and one time for WWE Survivor Series 2022.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back next week with some more impressive guests on some more impressive episodes. But until then, we just have 4 favors that we want y'all to do. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
Bye. Enjoy Survivor Series.